Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into Jonathan Colford's Luxury Seller Guide, specifically unpacking some truly fascinating insights into the high-end real estate market right here in York Region. You know, when we picture luxury real estate, we usually think of the glossy brochures, those sweeping video tours, and that final sold sign on a sprawling estate, right? But today, we're talking about the iceberg concept. What you actually see out there in the public eye, that is quite literally just the tip of the iceberg. The real magic, the actual strategy that dictates a successful multi-million-dollar sale, happens entirely out of sight. It's deep below the surface. So let's jump right in and explore exactly how that hidden foundation is built.
Luxury selling is not simply a higher-priced version of a standard listing. We've really got to emphasize this core truth right out of the gate because it instantly dispels the absolute biggest myth in real estate. It's so tempting to just think a luxury property is, a normal house with an extra zero tacked on the price tag. But the data, and frankly, reality, shows us that couldn't be further from the truth. Selling in this tier is a completely different discipline. You need an entirely different playbook. Which naturally leads us to ask, so what matters before you go to market? I mean, if it's not just about slapping a higher price on it and taking some fancy photos, what on earth is going on behind the curtain? I want to build some intrigue here because if you're a seller or even just someone fascinated by the mechanics of high net worth transactions, the sheer amount of hidden below the surface work required in York Region's market is going to surprise you.
And here is your absolutely crucial takeaway. A luxury listing should be prepared before it is promoted. Just think about that order of operations for a second. In standard real estate, preparation and promotion kind of blur together, right? But in the luxury space, the heavy lifting happens completely out of sight, long before the public or even the broader broker community ever sees a single detail about the property. The work is happening. Preparation isn't just a step, it is the absolute prerequisite to promotion. Okay, let's dive into this and compare these two worlds, because the contrast really highlights the stakes. On one side, we have the upload and wait approach. You take a few nice photos, throw them online, and basically cross your fingers hoping a millionaire happens to scroll by. It's passive, and let's be honest, a bit desperate in this tier. On the flip side, we have the deliberate pre-market strategy. In the luxury tier, uploading photos and waiting simply does not cut it. You have to actively curate and deliberately construct the market for that specific home. It's an active, highly strategic campaign versus, well, a passive waiting game. So, this deliberate pre-market strategy, it relies on 4 distinct pillars. Number 1, identify the buyer. You aren't marketing to the masses here. This is a highly targeted operation. Number 2, understand comparables. Once you know exactly who your buyer is, you heavily scrutinize the properties competing for their attention. Number 3, prepare the home to meet those incredibly exacting standards. And finally, number 4, control the story. This isn't just a list of facts and figures. It's about crafting the actual narrative of the home. This right here is your foundational blueprint for a successful high net worth transaction. Moving on to section 1, the hidden work, orchestrating the details. Let's see what this actually looks like. Behind the scenes, pulling off a successful luxury sale means orchestrating a massive number of moving parts. We're talking about preparation, pricing, buyer profiling, presentation, discretion, marketing, showing strategy, and your negotiation plan. Think of these as 8 interlocking gears. They literally all have to turn together perfectly behind the scenes before the home ever hits the public market. If your pricing doesn't match your buyer profile, the gears jam. If your presentation doesn't align with your showing strategy, the whole machine stalls out. It is a highly, highly orchestrated effort. Now, I want to single out one of those gears specifically, and that's discretion. Deciding exactly how public or private the marketing should be is absolutely critical. Let's just pause and think about the psychology of privacy for a second. For a high net worth individual, privacy is often the ultimate luxury. Sometimes, blasting a property across every single public channel is the exact wrong move. The deliberate choice of who gets to see the property and how they see it is a massive game changer for luxury sellers. All right, on to section 2, the buyer's mindset, shifting the perspective. To truly understand this buyer, we have to look at the geographic landscape here: Aurora, Newmarket, King Township, Oak Ridges, and the broader York region. Now, obviously, each community has its own totally unique flavor and character, but the luxury buyers shopping across these zip codes, they share a distinct, uncompromising set of high-end expectations. They are shopping in a specific tier, and their mindset completely transcends individual town boundaries. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what those buyers are evaluating. Listen, these buyers aren't just looking at standard room counts or basic square footage. They don't care about that. They are evaluating a much deeper set of criteria: privacy, architecture, the land itself, school access, lifestyle, commute, the absolute quality of the finishes and renovations, estate presence, and long-term fit. They are weighing luxurious lifestyle metrics. They aren't buying a structure, they are buying a lifestyle.
Actually, let's delve into the nuance of one of those specific criteria: estate presence. I love this one because it's such a powerful concept. It defines the overarching feel, privacy, and legacy impact of a property beyond just its physical dimensions. It proves that high net worth buyers are purchasing a curated legacy. Estate presence is that overarching feeling you get when you approach the property. It's the level of absolute privacy it affords. It's an emotional and psychological metric. And let me tell you, preparing for it requires unbelievable attention to detail.
Which brings us to Section 3, controlling the story, the first impression. Simply put, first impressions happen before the door ever opens. The way a home is deliberately positioned out in the world shapes the buyer's mindset long before they ever take a physical tour. All of that hidden work we just talked about, identifying the buyer, calibrating the level of discretion, perfecting that estate presence, that is what actually sets the stage. That deliberate positioning shapes expectations well before anyone ever turns a key in the lock. So based on everything we've unpacked today, I want to leave you with a provocative question to challenge how you view this whole process. Are you simply listing your home, or are you deliberately preparing your legacy for the market? Understanding the difference between those two concepts is the absolute key to mastering the luxury real estate space in York Region. Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with me today. I really hope this changes how you look at the properties behind those high-end gates.